Any Given Sunday is proud to be supported by one of Australia's fastest growing men's grooming brands, Nutcare. Proudly Australian, Nutcare is taking down under grooming to the modern day man. Recently voted #1 by Men's Health magazine with Bare Nuts pubic hair removal cream, Nutcare is revolutionising male grooming. As proud supporters of Any Given Sunday, Nutcare is offering our listeners 10% off their first orders. Simply use promo code Any Given Sunday at checkout to get 10% off your first order.
Outstanding. And I'm assuming that was pretty easy for you at checkout when you went through that, Danny?
Yeah, very, very smooth. Very, very smooth process.
Smooth process, you might say.
Very smooth.
Very good, very good.
Nutcare is essential grooming for men. Remember that.
Brown 45! Brown 45! Hot, 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 hot!
You are listening to Any Given Sunday, Australia.
Yes, hello and welcome to the Any Given Sunday Australia podcast, the #1 podcast in 3 households, and we're back in the studio, back in our #1 studio. We have with us, as always, our ever reliable. He's not in the basement down in Torquay. We're not giving away his address anymore.
You're getting closer to
Torquay very specifically, right near the Oval. It's nice. There's a good little setup.
Easy.
At Tim Cardy, AGSAU. How are you, mate?
I'm good, Macca. Great to be back in the studio.
Yes,
I can touch you.
you can
I can touch you. Love it. It's great to be back.
It is. It's such a nice area.
Good to see your smiling faces in person.
Not glitching again because we've fixed our problems and we're live. That also helps. Is our work experience kid turned pro at Danny Webb AGSAU. I will get it down pat one day. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Just wanted to give you a quick shout out. Got to do it nice and early. Shout out to Mum. I know you're listening. Mama says, apparently you listen to this podcast to fall asleep, so I wanted to get it nice and early. Give you a nice quick little shout out before you get going.
Before she falls asleep?
Yeah, so sweet dreams. Sweet dreams. So.
Hey, Sarah. Sorry you got to listen to our stupid voices as well. We
Now,
might have to get a special cut of just Danny and we can maybe mute ourselves somehow out of the
just
epi,
purely Danny that's talking. And
She did say that she doesn't understand anything about the sport, but does quite enjoy listening to us all.
yeah, that's
Good on her for listening. It's good for the analytics. So,
It is.
any other family
Yeah.
members that feel like they haven't caught up with you for a while,
Yeah, just like don't call me or anything. Just listen to the podcast.
send them the link.
Yeah, that's how I catch up with my mum and dad. They talk on the live.
They do. They talk to each other. It's great. I've got
Actually, speaking of
I've got to
mum,
mediate
she
them.
was very adamant. She goes, I did not write last week. She goes, that was your dad.
I
It
thought
comes
it
up
might
as a
have-
sin.
thought it might have been Wayne. How are you going, Macca?
Yes, I'm good. I'm very stoked to be back in this studio and to be able to gauge off you boys all my jokes, how funny they really are.
You feel like you get a better read in person?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I sit at home and twiddle my thumbs when I think they're funny, but they're not as funny.
Especially when the internet starts lagging as well. So you don't know if the room's just silent because your joke was no good or...
It's never the jokes. It's never the jokes. It's purely the internet every time.
Oh, so now we just get to listen to a quiet room next time you make a joke.
Yeah, but we've had a big week. I haven't actually told you what we've got coming up. I do remind me to tell you what we've got in the next few days. I hope you're available. But
Oh boy.
we just got to speak with the chairman of Grid on Australia. How'd you go with that, boys?
Yeah, that was the other day. That was a great chat. Obviously, today's a different day. We're wearing different things.
I didn't mention it. Why did you? I just said we just got to speak.
Nah, great chat. Awesome bloke, Brett. How did we go? Malave.
No, Malave.
Malave.
Yeah, he's a lot more slick.
Malave, yeah.
He
was
spent
great.
3 days practicing and got it wrong.
As we said off air, held the room really well.
Incredibly well. Like we
Did our job for us a
Yeah,
lot of the time.
I didn't really feel like I needed to be there, apart from to listen to him because he was super insightful. But yeah, not many questions needed to be asked. That man can talk
Why do
in
we
a good
get
way.
big brain? Everyone we get on is such big brain individuals.
We should have known. He's a
10-year
banker.
10-year
Been in
banker.
the financial sector. We should have known. We're going to be up against it.
He was a
but
smart cookie.
He
Yeah.
was.
No,
Yeah,
he
I felt like a
was-
lot of my jokes were too lowbrow for him.
he humoured us.
He did. He
Yeah.
did. He looked well. But I do want to get him and Wade in the same room. I reckon the banter will be elite.
That would be good.
Yeah.
That would be
Then
good.
we definitely would be sitting there in silence.
Yeah, exactly.
just watching
I'm
battle.
going to be roasting us. That'll be we got some exciting news. Back for the first time in quite a while, purely because we haven't been able to talk about it. But it is back. Our favourite segment.
Thank you for calling Dr. Danny's office.
Good.
We good? All right. So just wanted to talk about our main man.
Seamless.
Welcome back, Danny. Dr. Danny. How are you, mate?
Thank you.
Too much Daniel leave for you, I think.
Yeah, that's it. The beard does look exceptional.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Daniel Leaves does wonderful things for me. No, I wanted to talk about Brock Purdy because his orthopedic surgeon's come out and said a couple of things about him. They're talking about it potentially might have been a blessing in disguise, this injury. So a lot of people thought he was going to have the full reconstruction surgery, which he didn't end up having in the end. It was just almost like a brace, like an internal brace to support the elbow. And the rehab that Brock's going to have to go through from here is actually just going to try and strengthen his arm and strengthen his elbow. So potentially it's looking like he might end up with an even stronger arm than ever before because the rehab and stuff, the process that he's going to have to go through is going to build so much more strength than he never would have done if he hadn't injured his elbow. So they're talking about roughly 3 months before he's going to start throwing again. So his successful surgery was done last Friday.
He's gone under the knife.
He's gone under. That's done. They're talking about potentially, 3 months from now, he's going to start throwing the ball. They're relatively confident as far as non-contact goes that he's going to be throwing the ball better than ever. The only thing they are worried about is if there is contact again, in a similar way that what happened to him when he first went down, when he was first injured. If that happens again, will he need a full elbow reco? Potentially, but only really time's going to be able to tell on that one.
It's always going to be a risk, though, isn't it? That
It
sort of
was the
contact.
knocking back motion,
Yeah,
wasn't it? So that's
sort of.
shit, that happens.
And it's
times a game.
Tommy John surgery, so I think it's
Is that is the full
full-blown
thing's Tommy John?
Oh, is it?
So he didn't get Tommy John.
No,
Right,
yeah, so
okay.
that's really common surgery.
baseball
Baseball players.
I
pitches.
thought it would be ball went.
really common.
Yeah, huge for baseball.
For baseball, and they come back and they throw faster balls than they ever have.
So-
But that is due to the rehab, and the issue with them is it's non-contact. Oh, sorry, the positive for them, is
definitely.
no contact.
less risk of the
Less risk
re-injury.
of re-injury. So they're talking potentially week 1, 2, or 3, the Brock might actually take the field again, which is huge.
The party might start again.
The party might
So they're
start.
talking now until the 3 months when he's throwing again. It's all strength and
Yeah, so-
rehab, so he's getting the strength back in the arm.
Yeah, so it's all going to be focused. Obviously, he's going to do his normal fitness as well. Once he can start to do all that again. But yeah, the majority of the focus is going to be on re-strengthening that elbow and hopefully get it to be stronger than it ever was before.
And so they're talking about him starting already. Surely there's going to be a whole OTAs and everything like that before.
Yeah, so
already
obviously-
saying Brock's our man.
Yeah, no, I didn't say starting. I said he might take the field.
Oh, okay.
Might be able to take the
Sam
field.
Arnold, he's number one, surely.
Yeah.
49ers fans will love hearing that.
Yeah, so the faithful from the Bay. It's going to be interesting to see who they actually do put as their number one quarterback, and if Brock actually does come back, whether it's week 1, 2, or 3. The main concern is if he has contact again too soon. So if he has contact again too soon, he'll have the full Tommy John
And
surgery.
that's 12 months.
Yeah.
That's the original.
That was the original. That's originally what they thought, but yeah. So what they've done is supported by using this brace technique, and it's going to work out to a lot shorter recovery for him.
How flat would you be if you go through all this and then, fourth throw of the game, if you're back in the game, it happens again and they're like, oh, now you got 12 months.
And that's the thing. NFL's a contact sport. It's unavoidable. The whole idea for defense is to sack the quarterback, and if you sack him while he's mid-throw, that just that risk of re-injuring it just goes so much higher.
Yeah, and you hope it doesn't affect his confidence and
Yeah,
the way he goes about it as well.
You coming back from a knee, it's the same. Yours doesn't have to be contact though. I guess that's maybe a little. I don't know if you'd be able to talk to him more than me, but the fact that it has to be contact, would that be a little bit less stressful?
It's a little bit more in his control,
Yeah.
for sure. You can sort of make that decision. If you feel like the pressure's on, you're not going to throw it.
Yeah, throw
Maybe.
it down or hold on it.
Yeah, so it's a little bit more in his control, I would have thought. But have we had any update on where Trey Lance is at all? Or
No, as far as I've heard, and it's not really an update, but he'll be right for OTAs,
okay,
as far as I know. Could be wrong. Maybe that's why they brought Sam Darnold in.
they might have they've got a quarterback problem.
Yeah, yeah. They've gone
Good
from
problem to
having
have.
too many
Yeah.
to have not enough to now they're all injured.
Well, if anyone shows you that you need at least 3 quarterbacks, it's the 49ers.
And they're normally the team that would be getting to the QB.
Yeah.
That is all from Dr.
Yeah,
Danny?
that is all from Dr. Danny. Obviously,
Obviously, off season.
there's not a heap of people checking in with me. I don't have many appointments on this week, but yeah, Brock was definitely one of them.
That's why we're able to get you in the studio.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm free.
Great. So hit him up. 1300 Dr. Danny, I believe.
Yes.
Straight into some news, and you had some breaking news, Dr. Danny, not Dr. Wise, but breaking news on the Australian front.
Yeah, so Adam Gotsis is signed an extension with the Jaguars for 2 years, 2.8.
Duval.
Yes,
Baby
exactly.
Someone had to.
Yeah. Yeah, so he signed for 2 years, 2.8 million, which is great. Like, always love to see Aussie boys out there taking the field in any way, shape or form. But yeah, signing an extension for another 2 years is great. And playing for the Jags, I reckon I'm pretty big on the Jags and their potential. Like, they showed such strength last year, like, you know, getting into the playoffs. And like playing under Trevor Lawrence is always going to be good. So it's going to be really good for him to see, you know, how the season turns out.
And they've only strengthened as well. Like, they've brought players in, and they're another team. Well, they are the team that we kind of jumped on this year, them and the Lions.
We did. We
all jumped on the Lions.
We like the Lions. Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely on the way up.
Yeah, for sure. Who's the wide receiver that...
Ridley.
Ridley, yes. So another weapon.
So they got
for
weapons on
Trev.
both sides. Like.
Yes, that's right. And ultimately, we love seeing Aussies do good things over in the NFL. So it's awesome. Really good news story to start off with, Danny boy.
Yeah, need to start with the Aussies.
Oh no, thanks. Everyone's so happy and warm now. Now let's talk about spending millions, extending our. I was going to say our chief. He's not our chief, is he? He's a commish.
Commish. Yeah.
Roger
Chief
Goodall.
commish.
Roger Goodall.
Roger Goodall.
You all right with that?
Goodell.
Goodall.
Yeah, so the owners have their meeting, I believe, next week?
Sure.
I'm not sure. I don't think they've met yet. But all the talk is that, yeah, Roger's going to get...
I think it's only like I'm sure the idea of it would have been in play for quite a while. But,
for sure.
But yeah, they've only just started the negotiations.
He hasn't stopped making the money. So.
No. I feel like it's going to be pretty quick.
And with the new league year only starting on the 15th, obviously
week,
this will be their first meeting of the new league year. But yeah, there's talk of, is it a 3-year extension? So yeah.
Is there talk of money yet? Like how much?
No, it's just
Lots.
it's obviously it's very insensitive.
Incentive?
Thank you. Incentive based. Nearly lost it there. Yeah, it's very
I hate when
incentive
people are
based.
so insensitive.
That's all I had.
Yeah. What kind of incentives would it be? Whether we grow the game and things like that, you reckon?
I think it's to do with the
Media deals and things like...
and the financial success. Like, you know, obviously the league is making the owners so much more money than it ever has previously. And you can tell that by which I'm sure we're going to talk about later, but the sale of the Wizards, Washington, and the price of that compared to like previous teams that have been sold in the past. Not obviously of recent years, but they went from going from a couple of $100 million to now like and truly in the billions. So the league is constantly making more money. So I think
a lot of that is off the back of the media deals and like the growth of the streaming platforms. I think Amazon Prime have got their
YouTube you
Thursday
can
night
buy per game on YouTube, can't you? Yeah.
I think this year. Do you reckon it'll come to? I don't know if it's Australia.
It's not Australian, but in the States. But it's still
yeah.
a massive thing. Like if you don't want the full year subscription on Game Pass.
Like game
But
by
there's
game.
there's talk. Apple might be wanting to get into that streaming space. You know, an absolute giant in the streaming market. So it's just more money for the NFL. So Roger's just doing very well for himself in terms of incentive-based sort of contracts there.
Yeah, the old incentive-based contracts. Speaking of buying, you just said the Commanders are on the table, but there's a conglomerate. Would you call them?
Yeah, the Harris
well, I
Group.
don't know how many are in it.
Wow.
How many does it take to become a
own
conglomerate?
Philly, what number 9 is
76ers.
That's the one.
So I just dropped the Wizards and I was trying to talk about Washington. You're dropping the 49ers, which is Australian. We're all over the shop.
On a roll.
So the Harris Group currently own the Philadelphia 76ers and the NHL's New Jersey Devils.
Oh yeah, I know them.
Yeah, and apparently Magic Johnson, he's the latest one reported to be jumping on with this Harris Group.
So he's not a part of it. He's getting involved with it.
I believe that's the headline.
No, yeah, so he's not already a part of this Harris Group. He's going to be joining the Harris Group. Johnson has also invested in other sport teams like the WNBA's Los Angeles Sparks and the Major League Soccer, the Los Angeles team.
Galaxy?
I think they might just be Los Angeles
No, it's a
Football
Galaxy.
Club.
Oh, could
FC.
Oh, mate, they might have been part of. Actually, I reckon they're part of the Manchester Group.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's
We're
So, yes.
delving into unknown territory.
Yeah,
here, so-
yeah. This is
Sure.
not our
We're
forte.
guessing.
I'll
It's
take
not our
I'll
forte.
take
But
your
yeah,
word
so
for it.
Magic's already got his fingers in a few sports teams' pies, and then he wants to expand that and jump on the NFL.
Well, the rumours, or I'm not sure if it's rumours or reports, are that Snyder's maybe making some moves
To get
that
out.
are sort of letting people believe that the Commanders are going to get sold. I think, was it looking at,
Wasn't he getting his finances in order?
yeah, and
kind
like,
of deal?
was it removing furniture or something,
Really?
something
I
weird
didn't
from
hear
the
that.
facility? Was it
Oh,
something
he's
like
such
that?
a
Or-
weirdo. Isn't he?
And was he also only not paying the sign-on bonuses? He's postponing the sign-on bonuses to May
Which-
1st,
which would be
until
that
after.
the new-
Pass it on to the new
The new
owner.
people,
So
yeah.
yeah, I
so-
think that's what sort of got people thinking. All right, maybe this is going to be happening soon.
But yeah, there's massive talks. Like if they do this, Harris Group or anyone do, try and buy the team. I think it's worth $5.6 billion
Well, that's what
US, which is
Potentially-
the Denver Broncos.
Then
went
going to
for.
pay out these bonuses. Got to build a new stadium. The
Stadium.
stadium's in just disarray.
And they're
So
talking
it's
about-
not just that initial sale figure, is it?
But
They've got
then
poo water going on. All the
But they're even talking
Yeah.
talking about renaming the team.
Yeah, I
Again.
did hear that. I did hear
Yeah, they're
that.
talking about renaming the team again. Potentially the new owner will have the
Maybe
power
like just a
soon.
whole rebrand, get away from the Snyder era.
Yeah, and just like try and start fresh, which would be like new stadium. If you change the team, like you change the uniforms, like there's a lot. There's going to be a lot to go on. So like if someone is going to buy the team, like a group, it's probably going to be the best thing because 5.6 billion is a lot of money, and then on top of that, you got to build a new stadium.
Yeah, I reckon if you're going in there and saying there's a new stadium, it's now 5.4 billion, and we're putting the stadium on top of that. That's not me as a
negotiator. Yeah, for sure.
negotiating. Like, yeah, you're either bringing us a new stadium or we're taking the price down.
Well, I think the big thing, and it's probably it gets lost inside of a little bit. I don't know any personally, but the poor Commanders fans,
Yeah.
you got to feel sorry for them.
So I was meant to go on Commanders podcast from the UK. I'm hoping to get on the next few weeks. They're doing like a players only month, and I didn't get an invite apparently.
Oh, what?
But in the next few weeks,
First weekend,
we might get them on ours and have a chat about the Commanders because
There we
they
go.
hate him. I
Yeah,
listened
well,
to
that's
one
what I
or
mean.
two
That's what
episodes. They
you feel
hate
sorry
him.
for them.
Oh, the way
Let
they
us
speak
go.
about it.
Let us go.
It is literally like, nah, if he's there this year, this podcast will be after a different team. Like, they
Yeah?
hate him. I was like, oh, Jesus. I look forward to getting them on, and I'll be baiting them.
Yeah.
Dan,
Throw a
he is
few
a
grenades.
grouse.
Throw a few grenades.
He's the best owner I've ever heard. But
So
Yeah.
there's talks of this deal potentially, if it is being done before this owners only meeting. So whether that
which
actually,
I think
which
is-
is soon. I
I
think it's
reckon,
this week.
Within the
the
next
old
week or
within
something.
2 weeks, I've heard from them for a long time. Though.
Yeah.
So
Don't all the owners have to vote on it though to agree to the
yeah.
sale? So it would make sense it'd be after.
Yeah. Well, just
I
you know,
don't know.
rumors.
But they might be able to put it forward.
They
and
could
then it's
convene a
voted on
special-
at then
Yeah.
if they've put it forward before then, I guess, instead of reconvening again.
Again, more watch this space kind of.
Or heaps of watch this space. But yeah, Dan Schneider. Forever in the news, that man.
Giving us lots of content.
He
which is
does.
great.
He really looks after us in this off season.
Yeah.
The story that I was really keen to talk about, and I felt like I was
Why is
rushing through these. The Lions have signed CJ GJ from your Eagles, and your Eagles are just blowing up on the defensive side, especially.
Everyone's leaving. What's going on, Dan?
yeah.
Just the 1 year deal.
I thought we were all going to run it back.
So this was really interesting. So allegedly, like this is not confirmed, it's all rumored, but allegedly the Eagles had previously offered him a 3-year deal, which he declined and wanted to test the free agent market. And during that
He's
time,
only just come to you like halfway through last year.
Yeah.
He was at the Saints.
yeah, he was at the Saints. He was at the Saints before he came to Philly. But yeah, I think because maybe the deal that he got offered, I heard it was 24 million. Don't quote me on that because I don't know how true it is.
What's the 1 year deal?
8 million. So it
Balances out.
Yeah. So that's why I'm not 100% sure on that. It's not a reliable source. So we're not going to go off it, but that's allegedly what was offered to him. And he
Is it
wanted
Brendo?
to. Yeah. Yeah, it was Brendo. Shout out Brendo. No, Brendo is nothing except for his Chiefs.
Yeah,
His beloved Chiefs.
Brando's Chiefs.
Yeah, so the Eagles actually shifted their attention and re-signed the cornerbacks, Bradbury and Slay, in the meantime. So then when GJ decided that he wanted to, maybe actually take that deal, the deal was gone.
Yeah.
So then he was like, I need to sign somewhere. So signed with the Lions. And then since then he's come out and said that the Lions. He believes that the Lions team is a better team than the team
Yeah, I
that just
heard
went to the
that.
Super
I
Bowl.
heard that. Did you hear that? Did he come
I
out and
didn't.
said
I
that
didn't hear that, but
they're a
hearing a
better
bit of
team?
that from people with the free agency market,
Yeah,
we'll touch on in a
There's
sec.
another
But
one
yeah.
that we'll talk about that's
Yeah.
wanted to go to a Super Bowl. team.
Although Lions probably tipped to take out the NFC North, definitely.
Yeah, definitely on that side of the table anyway. No,
I wonder
we're
where the
still-
money's at.
They are making
Favourites.
a lot of moves.
They are.
Currently favourites to take out
Are they
NFC North.
actually?
Yeah, above
Yes.
the Vikings, which interesting.
Nah, that's probably fair.
Off the
Them
year that
one
they've
plus
had.
two.
No, your odds on to lose the
I would
division.
love to see
That's
the
fair.
odds the Vikings to come last. I'd rather the other three, obviously mine. but
Yeah, but that's just you've got your cheese head on.
Yeah.
Thinking
Oh, but I do think the Lions, even the Bears have set themselves up well with the draft and getting a few more picks in. So I think they'll definitely be on it.
And like, you know,
climb.
a little bit tongue in cheek, but we were a little bit bullish on the Lions last year, and they've only sort of added a few pieces and Goff another year under the belt, MCDC.
But I've also heard rumours of Goff. We've got off the Eagles, which is not ideal, but
Very well done,
the
bud.
Lions
Great deflection from Danny.
adding in another QB.
Yeah, and
So
they're
not
talking drafting.
ruffle the- yeah.
They are talking about drafting a
To
QB.
sit behind Goff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sit
sit behind
taking-
and potentially
taking
take over.
spot.
Where are
Yeah.
the Lions in the draft? Where are they sitting?
Not 9, around that 10 to 15. I reckon.
So
Potentially some quality still there.
Yeah, for sure.
What's Will Levis? I think will be the only one. The other 3 will go pretty early.
The other three, yeah.
He seems to be the number 4 kind of spot. So yeah, it'll be interesting. We've seen at Green Bay, taking someone. Stop laughing. Taking someone, and then that ruffles the feathers of. It helped us because he won the next 2
MVP.
Because he said, fuck you.
Yeah, that's right. And it
I still
obviously
got it.
has hurt us now because he's
And now
leaving
he's
us.
saying, fuck you.
Yeah, me especially.
Especially, well, you're an owner, aren't you? You're one of the owners? No, you can't get in, actually. So
I'm trying. Next time I'll.
sorry to bring that up.
I will. But yeah, so it'll be interesting
it's-
whether that's a.
How that sits
Yeah,
with Goff, and
Goff.
what that does for the chemistry and makeup of the team.
So that'll be interesting. But back to the Eagles. What's going on, mate? They're imploding.
Yes, and not fantastic the amount of players that have gone and signed on in other places, but I think that's just kind of the nature of being successful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
You probably can go chase money in other places, and obviously they're going to be saving a fair bit of money to try and re-sign Hurts when the time comes.
Well, and we talked about with the coaches when all the coaching shuffling was taking place.
Yeah,
You're a victim of your own success.
Yeah,
by
the DC and the OC both
people-
went on to be head coaches.
Yes,
so
right.
it's understandable. It's upsetting because obviously I'd love to see him running back, and because it was such a strong side, love to see him run it back and try and get to the Super Bowl again. But they're just going to have to keep on doing what they're doing and just picking up other pieces, extending the players that they can extend, and just try and have another crack.
It's interesting, though, that you came and said that they tried to sign CJGJ first because he was the interception leader for the year.
Yeah, so
38 or
I've
something?
actually got that. No, so he was tied with 6. That doesn't seem like the right
6
number.
interceptions. No, I reckon he had more than that.
Yeah. Anyway, but he missed 5 games, and he tied the most interceptions. He had a lacerated kidney, so he actually missed 5 games.
Actually,
And-
no, 6 would be about right, I reckon. 13's a record.
6 is still a lot
Yeah.
Yeah, 6
So
is actually
well,
big.
6 is what I've got.
for an individual.
Yeah.
6 is what I got, but you questioned me with like so much. So
eyes,
much just said, so I was like,
oh,
maybe
13
not.
is the record, so he definitely
Yeah,
didn't get that.
So what I've got written is 6. And he missed 5 games. So you chuck those 5
That's
games
huge.
extra on, even if you've got 1 interception per game, like you're sitting at 11. That is incredible.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
density
think because of that, I think that's why he was probably chasing more money than what Philly were offering. And then when he actually went out there, no one was offering it.
Yeah.
So he took
But
that. He took that
it's
8
funny
million.
that you heard it from that way because I heard it from the other way. My sources said that they signed the other 2 first and then there was no money left.
No.
I did hear Danny's. I
Yeah.
heard that
Yeah,
version.
no.
I heard that one.
You hear it from
No,
both
yeah.
sides. I
I
wonder
think
who's
Philly
leaking
would be
what.
silly to not try and re-sign
Silly Philly.
silly Philly, your interception leader. Like,
Of course.
you'd be silly not to try and sign them first. And
Offer
like
it- at least offer him something.
Slay wanted out.
Yeah, Slay was gone. wasn't
Slay wanted out. So
Did he re-sign before he'd left? Or are
Yes.
they both gone at the same time?
no, so
So was
Slay,
it Slay back and then it's CJGJ going, oh shit, I'm in trouble here.
yeah,
kind of.
So CJ GJ was offered first. Then Slay's like, I'm leaving anyway.
Yeah, go get your bag. I'm out of here.
Yeah. And then so he tried to chase money and then ended up re-signing with Philly. And then by that, like now the money's gone. So then that's why he went to the Lions. And I think him only signing for 1 year with the Lions, I'm assuming the Lions probably offered him more years, but I think him only signing for 1 year, I think he's going to try and prove his worth again, try and stay on the field for the whole season and then chase a bigger bag the following year, probably for another team because he has seemed to bounce.
Yeah, fair enough. A team that I think you were alluding to just before that has made some big moves as well, which was a bit of a surprise after last year. We said that they blew up and went on to win more games than what we expected.
You said they were selling everything.
They were a fire sale, and it
Clear
has
all out.
worked because Adam Thielen, at the age of 32, has signed a 3-year, I reckon it's 25 million as well.
I think it was around that, whatever the market
20,
was.
25 million,
25.
14 million guaranteed.
I heard up to 18 million guaranteed, but
Okay.
we have different sources by the sound, which is good. A bit of competitive market. But such an interesting sign because from his side, he said he wanted to go to a
Contender.
contender. Now,
Wants to win a
I reckon
ring.
9 times out of 10, people are saying they are not contenders. Not
Panthers.
this year, anyway.
The Panthers.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but Adams,
Agree.
Agreed.
Adam's a full believer. Like if you hear him
that's
talk
right, you
about
hear
it,
him
he's
talk.
a
He's
full.
all in.
But are
So-
they going to go? You reckon he's going to go there and be like, "Oh yeah, no, not in the next 2 years"? Or
But that's why he signed. I reckon that's why he signed for the 3 years because he's obviously. I think he's
at
thinking.
32,
He's
that's
looking
a big
down
deal.
Yeah.
long term.
I think he's looking long term. He's like, it might not be this year, but hopefully we're competitive this year. Get some good reps. He wants to be a veteran presence in the locker room. Get some good reps under him, and then maybe the next year actually have a proper crack. And then hopefully he gets his 3rd year. And
What-
that'll probably be the year that they're actually chasing it.
And he's basing it on they've obviously traded up, got the number 1 pick in the draft. They're going to pick up a quarterback. And then all the talk is they've got Frank Reich, Andy Dalton, and someone else. I'm not sure who.
I know who you're talking about, but
But they're all like, three
Yeah.
veteran quarterbacks or, experienced quarterback coaches and things like that. Maybe it's the offensive
whoever the OC is.
OC. But anyway, that can obviously help nurture and build up whoever they're going to draft. So he's obviously very bullish after he did a visit down to their facility.
Yeah.
Loves their facility. Loves his golf. They've got a golf simulator like right next to the locker room. So that was a huge selling point for him, which is awesome. I love,
Yeah,
I
he
love
reckons
that.
he just walked around the whole facility, didn't ask any questions, and he's like, "Now, so the simulator."
Yeah.
In fairness to him, though, I think
He's playing off scratch.
Yeah, close to
1.1 or something.
Yeah, close to scratch, which is pretty incredible. But he was saying that he wanted to do the open days on Mondays for the golf, to like eventually, like hopefully, actually get a spot playing golf.
Yeah, I did hear him say
If
that.
you're
Like
playing
he's
off
going to
scratch, you're a chance, aren't you?
Yeah,
enter the comps and
Yeah.
have a crack, which he's an incredible golfer apparently. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, just funny that he's saying that they're in his eyes genuinely a contender that he thinks they can win a Super Bowl. Which
So
you
obviously,
got to
I
assume
love
he means
the Andy
you
Dalton
got to
sign.
assume he means in the 3 years that he signed for.
yeah. And obviously, the pitch that he was given must have been perfect because he said that he went down there kind of just like, I'm going to have a look around, but I want to play for a Super Bowl contending team. And he went down there, spoke to the coaches, didn't speak to the owner, but spoke to all the coaches, and they were like, whatever they said to him, they sold him. And I'm assuming they probably whispered in his ear what quarterback they potentially might be having as well.
I reckon whispering in his ear, "We're going to give you 25 million," probably helped. I reckon that helped.
That definitely helps.
But yeah, speaking of the QB, so I've heard rumours that they might. They've traded up to the 1, trade back to the 2, and let Texans pick if they're happy with either. Sounds like Bryce or. You've left me hanging.
CJ.
Yes, Stroud.
CJ Stroud.
Because they're not really worried about the height issues.
And who's the other one? Is it Richardson or Anderson?
Anderson.
Anderson.
But no, Richardson.
No, it's Richardson, yeah.
Richardson. But I don't think he's.
Height's not the issue.
Yeah, so I think it's
they're
either
not
going to be
deterred.
CJ or Bryce.
So what have they done?
They haven't yet, but there's rumours that they might.
Why would they do that? What do they gain from that?
Well, they're not
The
just.
Texans
It
like
won't
to
be a
give them
straight
something
swap.
for-
Yeah, it'll be to get some of the capital back that they lost.
Okay.
So they might be, a second or third
And
round.
the only reason they would do that is because they don't care.
happy with
they're
two
happy
of
with
them.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They did, so it happened with Miami and the Chargers a few years ago. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
heard of it.
the
Tua and Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I have.
And the Chargers were behind him, and everyone was like, "You got to trade up to get who you want." He's like, "Do you know
We're
what?
happy with either."
We're happy with Tua, or we're happy with Justin Herbert." So they got Herbert; they were very happy.
And they say,
So do you
And
think,
it's- the
do you
rumours
think,
are the same
do you think
thing
the
could happen
Texans are desperate enough to trade up though? Because it's all good and well that the Panthers want to trade back down.
Yeah.
But then why trade to the number 1 spot in the first place? Because you have to give up DJ Moore.
That'll
and
have to be whether you're not happy with something.
Well, that'll depend
i.e.
if they've got their
Voss.
hearts on set on one.
CJ or
Richardson.
No, it'll be.
Oh, you reckon he's
it'll be
he's
Bryce.
not in the,
it'll be Bryce.
He's not
or
in the
CJ.
conversation for
Nah.
top 2.
I
So,
don't
like-
think so. Well, he's definitely in the conversation. But I don't think he will be.
with the height of the quarterback, like he's 5'10". It's not like he's not tiny by any means.
I know, but it's.
But
just-
their average-
I never.
It's pretty small, Macca.
I'm not in 5'10".
I know.
5'8" with a like stilettos
Some
on.
heels on.
Yeah, but they're like what the average quarterback ideal height. What are they saying? 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah,
That's
well
like
over
the,
above
that's
6
the
foot.
new prototype kind of thing. Yeah.
But it doesn't mean like there hasn't been successful quarterbacks that
No,
have
of
been
course
shorter than
not.
6 foot
Of
before.
course not.
And we've
Yeah.
definitely
And-
spoken about it, but I reckon, being removed a little bit, we've kind of said, what's a couple of inches between friends? But
A lot.
a lot
Sometimes.
apparently, because they are like everywhere you hear, they're like below 6 foot is a problem. So yeah, but they've come out and said we're not worried about that. So it seems that they're happy, but yeah, whether the Texans aren't.
And
they might
that
trade up.
again, that could just be posturing and mind games. Like
Yeah,
you never
100%.
know. Like
Yeah, it's
there's
draft season,
so
yeah.
much that goes into it, like strategic press releases and things like that. So
And they could 100% have a number 1 in mind that they want.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'd imagine they probably would. But yeah, there was someone a few years ago. Terrible backstory.
could be trying to make Texans not panic, but be like, shit, if they're not happy and they grab our man potentially, like let's trade it. And yeah, like you said, they get they get some draft capital back. So
Have you seen Draft Day, the movie?
is it Kevin
Kevin
Costner? Yeah.
I put it up there as one of my favourite movies of all time. So you have to watch that, and it gives you a real idea of rumours of how accurate it is, but the posturing and the back and forth and the
Mind
working
games
around.
and everything. It's
Yeah.
like you're playing chess kind of thing.
Yeah, telling pretty much. And it came back to having an agent as well. That movie didn't, but the talk lately, because they can put out stories in good or bad light.
However,
whether
they need
they-
things
'cause
to be framed or
I imagine that there's players that'll be like, we don't want the Texans to go number 1 because I'd rather go to the Panthers.
yeah,
So-
definitely.
And if they trade, and then you hear all of a sudden there's a bad story that comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if the agent going, you know what, he was arrested a few years ago for marijuana. Like,
trouble in the locker room.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
it. No one came to his birthday
Didn't get on with the
and
training
stuff like
staff, or you know.
and all of a sudden he's dropped to number 2, and then they get him anyway. Like,
Yeah.
So that's where
There's a lot
very long.
there's a lot
bow,
of
but
layers to it,
Lamar
and
Jackson
there's-
has a bit of trouble with that as well because
he's representing himself.
Exactly.
Him and his good mama.
yeah,
Is it Mama Jones?
yes,
Yes.
I don't know with Jones, but that's
I don't. Is her name Jackson? I should her name.
Nah.
Mate,
I've heard
maiden-
Mama
could be-
Jones.
Could be maiden name.
yeah,
Could be,
I've
exactly.
only
That's
heard
what
Mama
I'm getting
Jones.
at.
So,
Anyway,
anyways, we posture on too
we
much.
digress.
We speak about said Texans. They've made some big signings too.
have they?
Yeah, you actually mentioned
Nah,
this
they
before.
have.
The tight end Dalton Schultz, which I'm very
was-
surprised about.
Yeah, he was testing out free agency as a lot of players tend to do, and wasn't getting a lot of look-ins.
No,
It was looking like it might have been a bit of trouble for Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz. But I think he'd already signed. Had he? Maybe last year he definitely did. It was a franchise tag, but
the Cowboys.
The Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah, well, it wasn't this year.
It wasn't this year.
No, it definitely wasn't this year.
So the Texans threw $9 million at him to get him to come for the
One
year.
of the tight end markets.
So there's been a little bit of movement at the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Zeke?
but we've also got. So we will get on to Zeke.
Okay.
We've also got Devin Singletary from the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Yeah, he's come over to the Texans too. So they're really starting to throw their weight
So,
around.
yeah, they're throwing a few little pieces together there.
But you are right. The Cowboys. So all down in Texas. We're talking about Texas at the moment. The Cowboys have also thrown around. So Braden Cooks from the Texans has gone to the Cowboys. He's now. There's only 2 players in history that have been traded 4 times, and he is now part of that group.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember the other guy.
Only
He's been-
2?
Only 2 players
Traded-
traded 4 times.
That seems
so
low.
not picked up on free agent and things like that. Actually traded between teams.
Oh.
yeah, that's.
okay.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, nah, there's been players that do heaps of movement, but free agency is different.
Yeah, free agency.
Traded.
Free agency is more like the players' initiative, whereas trading is obviously the clubs
Between the
working out
teams.
deals.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Like there's only been 2 players traded 4 times.
Well, the other one was a big. I think he was either a left tackle or He was a big guy, one of the linesmen.
And essentially that means because it's out of his hands, he's maybe not necessarily getting the best deal for
that's-
himself.
And not going to the places he wants to go. Either.
Yeah.
So
Because a lot of players have the no trade clause and things like
Yeah,
that built
yeah.
into their contracts.
I think you're in the top echelon then.
If you've got, so maybe you're just sort of like
getting-
having to be
You
signed.
probably got a C on your chest, or you're throwing the ball. I
yeah,
reckon.
or a QB next to your name. It's
Yeah.
like, he's. I've always liked him. I couldn't tell you where he started, but yeah, he's lightning. He's so quick, and he was one that was targeted by not targeted, but the Packers have been told, maybe you should go get him. All these years that we've been trying to get bloody receivers for Aaron Rodgers. Now I can guarantee you, we'll go get receivers this year. We'll end up with Odell Beckham.
You'll load up for sure.
Because we don't want.
You're gonna have a bit of space in that cap too.
Yeah, providing he goes, which could go all the way
Providing?
up to
When?
draft night.
When?
When it will happen.
No, when he.
Oh,
goes.
when it happens. Yeah, I've conceded. On the love boat. We follow the G through and
Kiss on
through.
the G.
For anyone who's not following, we are once again talking about Rodgers.
Yeah, I know, that got very quick, didn't it? Anyway,
We'll
so the
always find a
Cowboys
way,
have
mate.
traded for Brandon Cooks, which is another weapon for Dak after he has lost his best friend. Did you know that? Zeke and Dak, best friends.
Really? Didn't know that.
So very interesting that he has been cut.
Cut.
Zeke's cut.
Zeke got cut.
Oh, yeah,
You brought it up.
I did.
It's a
I
minute
did.
ago.
I forgot that he got cut. There's so much movement going on. There's a lot to keep up
it
with.
saved like $9 million in their cap and like $5
That's right.
million
It was to get under the.
Yeah, but
Interesting. You'd think you want to keep your quarterback happy.
But it's interesting with
Jerry knows though. Jerry knows.
with the Cooks trade because that probably puts the Cowboys out of the running for Odell Beckham Jr.
yeah, you'd think so.
Which he was touted
He
to
was.
potentially going on the
Well,
Cowboys.
he went and he was there. He tried or not try out, but like
Met with.
met with them.
I
yeah,
believe so.
That was
yeah. So
last
this
year, though.
trade obviously shows that that's not the route they're going.
They're not really thinking about it because you think they've got 3 or 4 wide receivers now. Although they've lost a tight end, so they might be going for a tight end in the draft. It's a
I did
big
just see
tight end
they've
draft
added Ronald Jones to help
I was
fill
gonna
the
say,
Zeke,
let's check
Elliott
live what's
void.
going
Yeah,
on.
that's what I'm just seeing now
Great
live.
call by
So
you.
Ronald Jones has been added on a 1-year deal,
To the
free agency from the Bucks to the Cowboys.
Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah. So they are filling the holes a little bit there. Obviously, has to be on less money than what Zeke was getting. Did you see Cam Newton had a pro day?
I was about to bring up, has he had it? I think Auburn, which is
Auburn, yeah.
that's who he played for.
I think he's had it.
Yeah, huge.
Still
Huge.
got
What
it.
are your thoughts on?
Still got it is the word.
Did you see much of Cam Newton? So
I
he
was
the
aware. I was
20
aware of him at the Panthers. Yeah.
2015-16 MVP.
Yeah.
Took him to the Super Bowl, lost to Peyton.
I did know. Yeah, I did know who he was, and I thought he was one of the coolest motherfuckers getting around. Like,
Yeah.
remember every time he rocked up to his press conference, like he was just wearing the coolest shit. And
I think he's still like.
but he always seemed. It was weird. I don't know why he disappeared. Essentially.
Yeah. All right, he had a bad season. I think they kind of blew up a little bit after their Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
A couple of, like, Luke Kuechly retired. A few of their bigger names disappeared. So they kind of went downhill and refresh with new... I reckon they had maybe Teddy Bridgewater or something come in. And
Teddy.
he was their new face and things like that. And he disappeared. Ended up at New England, Cam Newton, for a year and got beaten out by Mac Jones.
That's right. Yeah.
But, yeah, he just hasn't seemed to... Yeah, like, he was MVP and just hasn't had another look in. But
Yeah, I
It's
did.
pretty crazy.
And he tweeted like, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it was something along the lines of, "There ain't no way there's 32 motherfuckers that are better than me," or "How do these
Yeah, I
nobodies
love
keep
that
getting a
tweet.
job?" It's so good.
And then
Yeah.
I saw someone retweet being like, everyone lists the 30, like, out of the 32, which
32
better.
better. Oh, shit.
please tell me.
Gets put
No,
back
but
in-
it
back in
isn't.
his
Like, I
place.
agree. I don't think there would be all 32 of them that are better.
But at least to be sitting behind someone, like to have a veteran QB that's
Well, I wonder
gone on a
because
bit
he
of a
was
Super Bowl
behind
run and-
Mac for a bit. Once
They
he got
opted-
beaten out, he left. I think it was his
Ah,
decision.
okay.
So I don't know how.
It's hard when you're competing at such a high level to then turn off that switch, being like, you know what, I'm going to sit behind. It's different being a young guy coming up. You're learning the ropes. Fine, fair enough. You sit behind a veteran quarterback, but it's hard to be like at the top of your level, being like, no, you got to sit behind someone.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going to want to walk away.
It's a special type of it, like Andy Dalton, like I was trying to say before. I love that signing for the Panthers because he is the type that's gone, you know what? I had my time in the sun. Now, he could start quite a few
Was
games for
Flacco
Panthers.
doing the same thing? Flacco was
Yeah, at the Jets. He kind of got his...
had to play a couple of times, but like he was just sitting.
Because he got forced out by Lamar and then left.
Yeah.
And then was at the Jets. But I reckon he was almost competing at some point.
It seemed like
but
he
yeah,
didn't give
definitely,
much of a fuck.
definitely played a role. Ah, yes, good choice. But definitely played a role, and I think Dalton, he's done it now at the Bears, maybe somewhere else. But I really like that for Carolina to be able to sit there. But I don't think Cam Newton. The fact that he's walking around saying there's not 32 bastards that are better than me.
Speaking of one of those 32, which you haven't actually mentioned yet, old Gardner Minshew.
Yeah,
Oh,
he left you straight. He
Minshew
nearly had
Madness,
tears. That was
yeah.
right after,
Minshew Mania.
Oh, is it Mania?
Yeah, I don't know. It's,
whatever it is.
either
Madness, that's right with it.
That's out.
Oh no, he's gone and signed himself a deal with the Colts, and looking like he's going to be starting.
Depending who they draft.
Depending on who they
That'll be the
draft.
same thing. Like
Yeah.
the drafting, they're fourth. Do they go up to third? Like I don't think Atlanta are going to take a QB, but there's always a chance.
They're probably happy
is it
with
Atlanta. No, Arizona. They're third.
Yeah.
They got Kyler, but I can't see them. But it's always that, will somebody else take it, so we'll take it first kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you could see Detroit maybe or Atlanta. I could see Atlanta going up and taking it. I would track that statement. But so they definitely will pick up someone. But I think it's the same thing. Having Gardner, he's been there, he's done that. He's maybe 30-odd now. So he's realistically on the back end of his QB career, not being a starter. But yeah, he'll be fighting for the starting. But that is a big... Are you all right? It's just more Eagles just leaving the nest.
Yeah, I was obviously like massive on him, especially when Hurts went down. And his first game that he played was against Dallas, where it was against Dallas, where he went absolutely toe for toe for him until he threw an interception on like the last drive, which killed the game. But prior to that, leading up to that, he was looking like really, really handy. And I've spoken to other people who believe that like he should have his own team. Like he is potentially good enough to actually have his own team if someone actually gives him like a proper shot.
Yeah,
even at this point in his career.
That's where he started.
Yeah.
Now you think, did he have the right team around him? Like not team, like coaching team around him, like because they were a bit of a rabble for a few years, and now that they've got Doug Peterson and
definitely didn't have any weapons. Or I can't say didn't have any weapons, but probably didn't have enough weapons. And, yeah.
Doesn't help, does it?
No.
Be interesting. It was a good point by you to point out American Connection.
Oh,
well done by you. So these boys, find them at American Connection with a K, as you can see by their logo. You can also find them at americanconnection.com.au. Proud supporters of us, and they're offering 10% on all their items. So they're really good for apparel, sporting equipment, such as helmets, pads, backplates, socks, mouth guards, anything you can
wristbands,
speak about.
towels.
And we actually, the other day when we spoke to Brett Malave, he mentioned how expensive it is. So the fact that you can get 10% off using the code Any Given Sunday, or one word, could make it a lot cheaper and a lot more accessible. They also have
apparel. Not only equipment, apparel, college and NFL.
Yeah, some big
apparel.
college.
So, yeah, some really cool stuff. So jump on the website and have a look, and make sure you use the code Any Given Sunday. Yeah.
10%.
10% off.
10%. Yes.
Guaranteed does work as well. Can confirm.
It does. Yeah,
confirm.
It's not like one of those dodgy codes you see on the internet. This one's real. This one's legit. Certified.
I got my package from him yesterday, hence why I've got this. I bought the Aaron Rodgers, but it was I've worked out I've got a mini, and I ordered an iPhone 12, so it didn't fit.
That can go on the shelf.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, it will be on. It's
next
sitting
time you're
next
in the
to-
lab at home.
Yes, it will be. Any other news that we've had brought up that we've skipped over?
Nah, I feel like we've sort of ticked off most of the main items we wanted to look at. There's a little bit of movement still happening, but
There's going to be movement happening up until draft
Yeah.
day and then on draft day. So even if we comment on the movement, doesn't mean it's necessarily ever going to be the end of it.
yeah, that's right.
Like, obviously, a big thing that we keep on touching on but still haven't heard any news about is like Lamar Jackson, what he's going to do. I'm pretty sure he's releasing a video on his own YouTube channel to
I heard this.
kind of discuss.
Like an interview?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't know if he's interviewing himself or if he's got
Lamar,
someone.
what do you think? Yeah, Lamar. I
Yeah,
agree.
but
It's
it'll
pretty
be
good, actually.
interesting.
Could be his mum.
It definitely could be.
Jones.
Could be Mama Jones. It's definitely would be something to keep an eye on if anyone's actually interested to see where he goes. But I personally, I don't know about you boys, but I personally feel like no matter what deal kind of gets thrown up, the Ravens are probably just going to match.
Yeah,
And
which
then
we talked about that
Couple weeks
couple
ago.
weeks ago. It's almost like they're using that as a tool
Yeah.
with the non-exclusive franchise tag. They'll just if someone throws out a deal, all right, they've set the market, we'll match it. Easy.
Could you see him, so no one comes to the play and doesn't offer him anything, so he plays under the franchise tag, but he just sits and doesn't play?
I think that hurts him too much.
But last year he played under the franchise tag, got injured, and it hurt him.
I think it hurt him because he wouldn't travel with the team.
That was the last game.
I think
Yeah.
you're better off.
Since he-
I think you're better off putting good games under your belt. Just personally, that's my opinion. I don't think sitting.
But could you?
I don't think
do you
sitting
think
helps
he
you.
could sit?
Oh, potentially, yeah.
I know, because you'll be fined for if he doesn't train. Like it's like 100,000 or something, or 90,000 a day. You're not training or something. Like if you're personally sitting out.
If we're going to take a little cross sport example, Ben Simmons sitting
Yep.
did nothing good for his career.
Okay.
Did nothing good for his contract, and
Even if
it
it's just the
ruined his
narrative,
image.
exactly right. The narrative around your image and everything like that. I think it all plays into it, and especially not having an agent that can help control that narrative and build up that image, only makes it harder for him. So I don't think it'd be a good idea at all.
I think he'd be the kind that would, though.
You reckon?
Yeah, just
Whoa,
knowing him from a
I hope not.
distance.
I hope not. Text him. You obviously know him pretty well.
I do. I do.
Tell him
I've
not
got
to.
him on the. It's night time over there, but he's a late getter-upper, so he could be awake. We'll see what happens.
Getter-upper.
Getter-upper. He sleeps in, but he does his 4 hours of study, not like Kyle.
Do you
Yes.
have any questions without notice for us?
Uh,
Because if not, I've got one for you.
oh, do you want to play? Do you want to have the music?
Yeah.
If we can get it.
Oh, we've just thrown you straight under the bus. We will say that we are in the studio.
We are in the studio.
Yes.
Big, massive shout out to Amelia for producing today. Thank you very much for
CEO
helping
for
us
the
out
day.
today. Producing, CEO, doing all the roles. Someone's off jet setting, gallivanting about up north.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we don't mention him anymore.
dead to us.
Questions without notice.
So, Tommy,
Yes.
try and be as impartial as you can. But what do you think? All right, what would you like to see Green Bay get as compensation for AR12, and what do you think realistically you will see Green Bay get for Aaron Rodgers?
This definitely probably a good point after you sent that photo through. I gave you nothing on that photo. The rumours that he's not worth a first rounder. I find it hard to believe. I know he's older.
But he's still playing well.
He's still playing good football.
Not his fault. He didn't necessarily have the weapons this year,
No.
and he got injured.
Yeah, he had the broken thumb and,
Correct.
and things like that. But I think there has to be a first rounder involved, whether it's
This is what. So first part is what you want as a Green Bay fan.
17 first rounders. no, but
There's your impartialness for you.
honestly, whether you go down the, and I'm not sure in regards to being more valuable getting 2 or 3 seconds or 2 or 3 thirds, or do we just go instead of saying 1 and 2 or 3 seconds, just go with the one first rounder, or do we go the 2 or 3 second rounders? I don't know what's more valuable, but whichever one is more valuable to us. Because you can still get some superstars in the second, third, fourth round. So
And-
whether we get multiple seconds, thirds, fourths, or just go for the one big hit.
And as we said before, it's hard with the Jets because they do draft so well.
They value their picks.
They value their picks. So they had we keep on saying that the rookie offensive and rookie defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
So they obviously pick well. So they're going to be trying to, and I think that's potentially why
But
the deal
I
hasn't
reckon,
happened yet.
top of my head, they were both first rounders last year.
Yeah. So why would they want to give up another first rounder for Rodgers, who wants to come and play for the Jets?
Yeah, so I think
And Green Bay want him to play for the Jets. You know what I mean? So like they're
they
both.
want him off our books.
Yeah, both.
He's a very expensive sitting.
Yeah, both teams have almost
next 3 years.
hamstrung themselves
Yeah.
because
Who holds the leverage?
neither team do because
I think the Jets do.
the Jets want him. Green Bay don't want him, and they said worst case scenario they'll take him back.
I think the Jets hold the leverage though.
Yeah, but
Because
then,
then they-
but then
regardless-
Green Bay's not going to give him up for nothing.
No, but then there'll be a lot of. I won't be one of those people, but there'll be a lot of salty fans if we only get a third or a fourth rounder for him.
I think a third or a fourth round is probably not enough. I don't think you are. Honestly, my opinion, I don't think you're going to get first.
Yeah,
A couple of seconds, maybe a third, fine.
that's what I'm saying. Like, whether you say, fine, all right, no first, which I think they're 13 this year. All right, we won't have the 13, but we're going to have your next 2 seconds.
And then do you
is that
see
more
something
valuable?
being built in based off
There has to be.
performance,
Yeah.
time
Or
played,
time-wise, yeah.
time-wise? Yeah.
Yeah. If they make the Super
more
Bowl-
realistically, probably looking at maybe a couple of seconds and then some back-end building stuff.
Yeah, possibly a first.
Yeah,
next
a
year.
first.
Yeah.
A first if
Making
he
it.
gets MVP or
But then
takes the
that-
team to the Super Bowl.
Playoffs or how long he
Yeah.
plays for.
And I really hope we get it done prior to, because there's a chance it goes after the draft as well.
Absolutely could.
Because if they do get him and go well, the first next year is going to be 28. I'd rather the 13 this year.
That's right.
than
Yeah.
28 next year. Like,
So it's better for Green Bay to get it done before the draft.
yeah, you'd think
obviously,
so.
obviously.
Providing we get a first. I think there has to be a first in there somehow. Would you put your GM hat on? Would you prefer the 1-1 or the multiple 2s and 3s or 4s?
Probably-
It depends on the. Sorry.
No, you're right.
What
It depends.
need-
It depends.
what you need.
It depends on what's on your draft board.
Yeah.
It depends on what's on Green Bay's draft board. If they've got like
Well,
a magnitude of plays,
I've heard not as strong wide receiver year this year as
Yeah.
in the past. So you're
Which
not
is
going to get a
something you're
Justin
screaming
Jefferson,
for.
you're not going to get a Jamar Chase this year. So, yeah, do you say, all right, we'll
But
still
then-
get a solid one in 2 and 3?
If you free up that cap space, can you bring one in?
That's where I think Odell Beckham will come into it.
So maybe you take the 2-2s.
do you take the 2-2s and then maybe
I would take the
maybe
couple
a
of
2
2-2s with some back-ended stuff.
Yeah,
I reckon
maybe-
we're going to chase a tight end. We got just Robbie Tonyan's just left, so I reckon stronger tight end year this year.
Good tight end class, this draft class.
So do you chase 2-2s and then potentially a 2024 2 as well? So then
Yeah,
you got
that's
three.
what I'm-
Then you got 3 2s, but
That's
then you
what I'm
might get a
thinking.
wide
Are we
receiver
gonna
in the
go
following
with
year.
the more back-ended or lower options? Lower, like seconds are still... Like
Pretty
Jordy
high.
Nelson's one of our greatest wide receivers. I think he was like a 4th rounder.
Yeah.
Like, there's still talent. You've just got to find them.
Yeah.
Do we go with them more or do we say, all right, we'll go with less but more value? So I don't think we're going to get the 2 1s, a 3, a 6. Like, we're not going to get that. You have to be realistic about it.
No.
So,
And this thing, you don't want to pay him 56 million or whatever it is to sit on the bench because that's what he'll do.
58, 59.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, high 50s. Should we just set
60?
it's bordering on 70, by the way.
Yeah.
That's it. Well done. You did well. You held back your tears and you managed to string together a
I think
few
I've
words.
actually I've passed the tears, but when I see it in the... I
Oh,
nearly...
just you wait till you see him in there.
Mate, I'm seeing Alan Lazard in the New York... Oh, fuck.
I'll tell you the most painful part is, right, if he goes to the Jets and he does win a Super Bowl,
Yeah.
the only
Well, that's
photo-
what I said
the
with Wade.
the
I'm
o-
going to put it on record. I told Wade, you better look after our QB. He said he's going where he deserves to go.
Yeah.
You bastard. And I said, but if you make the Super Bowl, we're going together and I'll wear me Aaron Rodgers jersey.
yeah, but that's the thing. If he wins one for the Jets, the only photo you're ever going to see him in is a Jets jersey.
Oh, no, I reckon I'll have another one. It's 12 or 13 years old, but that's all right. So, beautiful.
No, that's it, mate. Well done.
Nice. Big couple of days that you guys don't know about, which I'm about to tell you about.
I'm excited.
Yeah, good.
Big couple of days without notice.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Can't
play
wait.
it again.
No, don't worry about it.
Next week, not sure what we've got planned yet, but we also have an interview that'll be going on the back of this. I should have said it earlier. So big fella, only just signed. I won't give away too much of where he's actually going, but Dan Warburton, a great little chat with him. That'll be on the back end of this episode. Yeah, I'm really scrambling my words now. I should have said this earlier. Really good fella and the kind of guy who's didn't come out and wasn't setting all the records and got noticed early. He's had to put in the yards and go over. It took himself over, added in umpteen amount of colleges on his own bat to go there and say, look, this is my stuff. Didn't have the tape to give them, so went there and showed him himself. So it's a real good interview to show that you can make it from anywhere.
There's other pathways.
So, yeah, definitely one to listen to, and good on him. But, yep, next week, some big things coming as well.
Always exciting. There's plenty going on, AGS.
Do you want to have a go at the ender? Danny did the starter. Do you want to do the ending?
No, that's your job.
That's my job. As always, if you do enjoy the podcast, make sure you tell your friends, your family, and who are we telling today?
You're chairman of the board.
The chairman of any board down at Croydon, Reservoir. These are all Victorian ones. Is there a Geelong?
There is a
There's
Geelong.
Geelong.
Team.
Yeah,
Geelong.
get around the Geelong
They were the
team.
Buccaneers, but I don't think they are anymore.
Ooh, okay. Anyway, Monash. I know there's a few
know
teams.
that.
I think there's 12 teams in Victoria, so a pretty strong league. Give us a 5-star rating. Leave a review. Set the little bell so that you know when we do come out. We're not live this week, but I reckon we'll be back live next week.
Also, give us a like and a comment on the YouTubes.
Yeah.
Helps our algorithms.
Get everything
Yeah,
moving.
get
It's
us a
always
like.
good for us. And I just enjoy the banter. It's actually good fun.
Yeah.
So I just don't want my mum to be keeping commenting. We'll keep it to actually real people that are actually interested. But thanks, Mum. Appreciate it. Find us on all the socials.
Love you, Mum.
Tim Cardy, AGSAU. Danny Webb, AGSAU.
On Twitter.
Yes, on Twitter. TMac, AGSAU. And AGSAU podcast, all on Twitter. Instagram is anygivensunday.au. TikTok, Facebook, Dabble, Any Given Sunday Australia. And then YouTube, Any Given Sunday Australia podcast.
Can't go wrong. Well done.
Well done, boys.
You're getting better. How many episodes in are we?
56.
Getting there. You're getting there. Well done.
I'll tick it off without having to look at it one day. But
One day.
well done, boys.
Good stuff. See you next week.
See you next.
Joining me now is a linebacker out of the Bayside Ravens who recently signed for Hillsdale College over in the US. Dan Warburton, how are you, big dog?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, mate, I'm doing pretty well. We're gonna start off just a little icebreaker. We did this with the Vanilla Gorilla. I don't know if you heard that interview, but just want to relax you into the interview and get you going. So I just want to know off the top of your head, 3 people, dead or alive, doesn't matter, that you would invite out to dinner just to have some conversation with.
That's a good question. I actually did listen to Zach Nielsen, aka the Vanilla Gorillas, episode on your podcast. And
Yeah, beauty.
I'd probably say I got to invite a football player. My favorite player is Jamar Chase.
Ah,
So he's
nice.
going to be my first guest. Probably invite my favorite rapper. That's Lil Baby.
Yeah.
And third seat at the table is going to go to my mum. I want to bring her along.
Yeah, nice. I like that one. That's different. I don't hear your mum too often, but probably maybe because she's probably been to your dinner parties a few times. But
Yeah, my home cooked meals in Australia are limited, so I love having dinner with her as much as I
yeah,
can.
that's a great call. You are going to head over, and have you been over there? Actually, I know you've been over there because we're going to ask about it. But how do you find the cuisine over in America compared to here?
I've been on Hawaii for holiday ages ago, but my main experience in the US was last year. I spent a month over there.
Yeah.
To be honest, man, I wasn't eating in a lot of luxury. It was fast food most nights due to the fact that I was bouncing around like city to city, just staying in hotels. I couldn't really cook.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of like Chick-fil-A and Burger King, but I did what I could. I did get to eat some good quality food though,
Yeah.
from time to time.
I'm the same. I've done a month over there, and there wasn't too many veggies getting
No.
around. So, yes, definitely enjoy Mum's cooked before you leave. But,
Definitely.
we will get onto that month in America in a minute. But first off, I just wanted to find out a little bit about yourself. How did you come across the game, and when did you know that this is the path that you wanted to follow?
So I can't growing up as a massive sport fan, I've always sort of known what the NFL was. But when I was about 12 years old, I guess it was on TV or something, and I just started watching it and started wondering, how does the game work? Like, maybe now's the time to learn it. And all throughout high school, every year I just got a little bit more knowledgeable about how everything works. And then it all changed when I was I think it was grade 11, I got the video game Madden.
Oh, yes.
I was just obsessed with it, and I really started learning the X's and O's about the strategy behind it. And then when I was in grade 12, I decided, well, I've pretty much played every single sport except this one. So I just signed up looking for a bit of fun, and I ended up really enjoying it. And that sort of led into just taking it seriously and having the dream of going to college.
Was that at Bayside that you signed up?
No, so my first team was Griffith Thunder. So actually, listening to Zach's episode, we did the exact same thing. I had no idea. We just messaged the 3 closest teams.
Yeah.
And Thunder was the first one to reply back. So that was my first team.
Well, that's how they're going to get you. So that's good. How did you end up at Bayside?
Bayside, I was just looking for a more like an atmosphere that's more conducive to excellence.
Yeah.
So Bayside, it's a great club. You know, everyone takes it very seriously. At the time, we were back-to-back champions. We've since made that 4 in a row. So you know how we get down to business. And there was a lot of talent over there and a lot of experience that I hoped I could gain from them. So that was my reasoning for going to the Ravens.
Yeah, beauty. Do you follow the NFL much or?
Oh, I love the NFL.
Yeah, who's your team?
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Jamar Chase makes sense then. What about Joey B? You'd have been a little bit disappointed about how they went out this year then.
Oh, more than a bit, man. It was tough to swallow. Like, I would have preferred a blowout, to be honest, against the Chiefs rather than that very close finish. But I'm sure we got a lot more playoff games ahead of us.
Yeah. I'm a Packers man, as you can see behind me.
Yeah.
I've got a few teams, but Green Bay's mine. I always take a little bit of comfort if you lose to the team that goes on to actually win the championship. Does that give you any comfort at all?
No, I don't like the Chiefs, man.
Yeah, fair enough. So you said that your favourite player is Jamar, but being a linebacker, I'm presuming he's not a player that you follow and base your game on. Do you have anyone that you do follow and kind of idolise a bit? Or
To be honest, I started playing safety. So I pretty much idolized all the DBs, the more hard-hitting dog kind of DBs. So, Tyrann Mathieu comes to mind. J.C. Horn, I love him. When he was at South Carolina in college, I used to study his tape a lot. I'm an LSU fan as well. So Derek Stingley Jr., especially his freshman year. I studied the hell out of that tape.
Yeah. So do you follow the college ball as much?
Not as much, but I try to keep up with it. It's a lot more going on than in the NFL. It's hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess you're going to have to get used to watching film, so that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Have you done much film watching through? We're going to talk about end zone, but have they got you in the idea of how film watching and things like that happens?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Before I started, I didn't really know where to start. I was just watching and trying to take everything in. But with the coaches at End Zone, in particular Booker and McConnell, they've really showed us how to analyze film as a college athlete would or a professional athlete would. So it really takes it to a different level. Yeah,
absolutely. I did. McConnell was he's a very astute person. Speaking to him the other day, it was it's no surprise that he has made it as far as he has. But you're a linebacker now.
Yeah.
Do you prefer inside or outside?
I like inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, is there another player that you kind of follow with that, or?
Fred Warner's cool. Eric Kendricks, I like watching his film a little bit.
Yeah.
And can't look past Ray Lewis, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's great.
Yeah, he'd probably be up there as one of the greatest, I reckon.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you always been defensive side? You said you started at safety, but did you ever have a crack at the offense?
Nah, as soon as I got to the Thunder, I actually requested to play defense. Never really been interested in the offensive side of the ball. So I started playing corner.
Yep.
And then moved to safety, and now I'm down at linebacker, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love playing on the dark side.
How did what about the dark side? You say that intrigued you? Are you enjoying the big hits? Zach said, hand in the ground, face in the dirt kind of thing. Is that your kind of footy?
I just like being disruptive, man. I like figuring out what the offense is trying to do and then stifling it, just being a nuisance pretty much to their game plan, stopping them from doing what they want to do. That's what I love.
Yeah, like the likes of JJ and TJ Watt, you can be a real game wrecker on that side of the ball. So
definitely.
How long have you been at Bayside? Have you enjoyed your time there?
I loved it, man. I started playing in 2021 there. So I played the full season there, and I participated fully during practices, like walkthroughs and scrimmages last year. However, due to college eligibility concerns, I wasn't able to take the field with my teammates. So I was still part of the family, but I wasn't able to step on the field.
What's the college eligibility? Can you talk us through what happened there?
So the NCAA has some rules regarding, I suppose you could call it fairness with their athletes participating after high school. So when you graduate high school, I graduated in 2020, you get 1 year to play amateur football, in other words, non-college sport. I used that in 2021. Any participation after that would start what's called your eligibility clock. And that clock pretty much stipulates that you have 4 years to play college football. So I elected not to start my clock in Australia, and I'll start it this year in the US. So I pretty much.
So if you had a play, you'd be 12 months in already almost.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd rather have the 12 months over there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. So is that how you became a part of Endzone, or how did that come apart?
So I became a part of Endzone when I was actually talking to my sister on my 18th birthday, and we was just talking about football like we usually do. And I threw around the idea of, maybe I should go play college. I was totally joking, and she said, my friend has a podcast, and one of the guests on it is a boy from Brisbane who is very successful in American football. He had like 20 plus offers to play Division I ball. I was like, that sounds cool. Listen to the podcast, figured out his story. His name's Jordan Moko, very well known throughout the community. I went on his Instagram and he tagged Sam Arnold in a post. From there, I found out Endzone Academy, sent them a message like, hey, this is what I want to do. Went down for one session and been going every week since.
Yeah. So you mentioned as we came on that you wanted to talk about Jordan a little bit and your experience and what you can provide for others. So feel free. What do you want to tell people, and what do you want to get out of this?
It's never too late. I started after I turned 18. Most of these American boys start when they turn 5. Even if you're from Australia, you feel like you don't have the resources around you. You just got to reach out, find people with the same dream, and you can make it happen. You can really do it. That's the information I want to provide to people who maybe think that, it's too hard. There isn't the infrastructure that they have in the US. We can still get it done.
Yeah. I was speaking to Makana the other day, and they were saying about how they want to grow it outside of Brisbane. They're going to start with some satellite camps and things like that. So even people like me down in Melbourne, I'm a bit old, but people down in Melbourne will be able to reach out to those guys, and they really have. Well, they're up to. So you're D2, aren't you? But they're up to 10 or 11 D1 scholarships, umpteen amount of D2 scholarships. So we will get into the difference between D1 and D2 in a minute. But I just want to talk about Endzone. We've really been beating them up the last few weeks, but just the fact that they are around for, like you said, people like yourself who want to have opportunities to move over to the States. How did you find the coaches and the crews there and day-to-day kind of stuff that you get done?
Man, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Endzone. They just being around Sam for my first year, and Sam plus Makana in my second and my third year this year. It's just we don't mess around. We know exactly what we need to do. We know what we're trying to do. We know what it takes to get there, and we get it done. There's no messing around, and just being surrounded with the boys, like-minded individuals with the same goals. It's very helpful having people around you who are going through the same things.
Yeah, 100%. And like we said, I haven't spoken to Sam, but Coach Garrigan, he just seems to be all over it and really gets into the mindset of young men who have college dreams and NFL dreams and help you to push forward. You were lucky enough, as you said, you got to spend a month over in the States to do some camps. That was through Endzone, and is it PPI? as well?
No, I wasn't able to join in with the PPI camp.
Okay.
So I went through, there's a organization called Europe's Elite.
Okay.
So they focus on Europe, like getting people from Europe to the US. They did a partnership with a brand, you could say, called Legacy, based in Michigan.
Yep.
So I pretty much signed up for the Legacy camp. It's a bus tour around the Midwest and the South. And we went to, I think it was 10 different schools and did 4 camps. And I decided while I was over in the US, might as well, if I'm there, do more than 4 camps.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up doing 10 camps on my own, plus the 4 on the Legacy tour.
That's incredible. So you did it all by yourself?
Yeah.
Shit, that's unreal. So how much of that time were you with the Legacy camp compared to being on your own?
I was over there for over a month. I think it was like 35 days. The Legacy tour was just 5 days. So most of the time, it was me lone wolfing it across the 50 states.
How were you getting around?
I would fly from like state to state. I didn't rent a car at all, so it was public transport like buses, trains, Ubers, like walking, just however I could get around, to be honest.
Wow. So I know we put a lot on Endzone and these kind of camps, but it sounds like you've put a lot of work in yourself, which is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've had a lot of help. Sam, McCanna, Booker, the boys at the Ravens, like everyone's gone above and beyond to help me achieve my dreams. And, you know, I'm just so grateful for that. But I did a bit myself.
Yeah, absolutely. It does show that you do have to put your time and your effort into it as well. But it's going to get you where you want to be, which is incredible. What kind of places did you actually go and I don't know, maybe top 2 or 3 places that you visited there?
I was lucky enough to do a bit of tourism. It wasn't all just like football. My favorite place by far was New York City. I ended up there to do 3 football camps. I did one at Widener in Staten Island, one at Fordham in the Bronx, and Columbia in Manhattan. So I was in New York just less than a week, and it was just time of my life. I loved it there. Can't wait to go back.
Yeah. So I don't know how much travel you get when you're actually in college, but I imagine you'll be getting around a fair bit.
Yeah. Like we'll do the away games, and when it's, I don't know, spring break or summer break, hopefully we can explore what's going on. Michigan's a beautiful state, so I can't wait to just get around, have a look at everything.
Yeah, beautiful. That leads me into my next question, which you are the first college student that I've spoken to that hasn't quite started the process yet. So I want to dive into the actual process of how you get there. And for those who don't know, which you kind of gave a little bit of a spoiler there, but where is Hillsdale?
Hillsdale is in Michigan.
Yeah. Not far out of Detroit, if I'm wrong.
It's like an hour and a half drive.
Yep.
Kind of in between Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. So no good being a Cincinnati fan then?
No. It's Lions territory.
Yeah, that's all right. You can go watch the Lions play when the Packers come and beat the Lions.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Well, you better send me some photos because I've only been once and I'm very, very jealous. But how did you decide on Hillsdale? Did you visit there beforehand or?
No, I wasn't able to do a visit. I actually came into contact with Hillsdale via email.
Yep.
So I emailed the head coach and he replied with some interest. He said, hey man, like, unfortunately we're out of athletic scholarships. They have a limited amount at Division II that they can actually give out. And just because of when I reached out to them, I actually came onto their radar quite late.
Yep.
So they weren't able to offer me a scholarship for athletics, but I applied, got accepted, and I'm a walk-on, a preferred walk-on with an academic scholarship.
Yeah, nice. So what are you going over there to study then?
Economics. That's going to be my major.
Okay, so I did hear from the guys at Endzone that you are a man who loves the details, so that makes sense that you are studying economics. Is that kind of a, not a backup plan, but always having in the back pocket that you've done your studies?
I was going to study in the past 2 years, to be honest, but like we talked about earlier with the eligibility, if I were to start full-time university, that would also start my clock.
Okay.
So I've always been interested in, the academic part of life. Tried my hardest in school, and I'm almost as excited to just be a university student as I am to be a college athlete.
Yep. Yeah, good. I think it's definitely nowadays. It's definitely banged home about that. You need to have not a backup plan, but something behind you, because football, even if you make it to the NFL, which it sounds like you're going to give every tree a shake to get there, you're going to need something to fall back on when it's finished, because you'll be, being a linebacker especially, they probably, what time did Ray Lewis, he would have been, 33, 34 when he went out, maybe a little bit older, but you still got a long, long time ahead of you after that.
Exactly, and I'd say he's the exception more than the rule. Like, the NFL career doesn't last too long on average.
Yeah, especially at linebacker, because you're big boys and you're running into some big boys as well.
Exactly.
So did you have to go through any testing for them? Because they are kind of, they're putting a bit on you to be able to play for them. So did you have to do any testing, or is it purely over emails?
Sorry, like physical testing?
Yeah, well, any kind of testing.
I sat my SATs.
Okay.
Did pretty well in that. I provided them my high school transcript, pretty much my report cards.
Yep.
That's what they used to give me the academic scholarship. I sent the head coach my physical measurements, as in my 40 and my broad and all the relevant ones, and also sent him my film. That was the main thing that got me recruited, was my game film.
Yeah, I did see a couple of big hits from your game film that we have over here, which is good to see, and we do enjoy that side of football. But we'll go to your 40. How were you? Were you happy with your times, or are you going to try and build on those?
I'd love to build on them, but at the moment, we're not really focused on running a good 40. We're just focused on running faster.
Yep.
That's all I'm focused on right now, is being more explosive and powerful and efficient in my movements. The number, like the time that I run exactly 40 yards, isn't top of my priority list right now.
Yeah, I did see, again, I don't know how up to date it was. It was 4.8 that I saw, which is still, for a linebacker, that's still pretty high numbers. If you can get it close to that 4.5, then you'll be absolutely elite. But you're not far off the mark anyway, it sounds like.
Yeah, the 4.8, it's not the most recent measurement, but we'll see. Maybe we'll run a 40 in the upcoming months. Maybe get closer to that 4.5.
Yeah, absolutely. What about some of your lifts? Are you happy with your lifts at the moment?
Yeah, like we're not in the gym right now. We're not really trying to go for the impressive 1-rep max or anything. Where the phase that we're in, we're focused on building muscular endurance and strength. So we're not going to put up the flashy numbers, but maybe in the next couple of months we'll, take the brakes off and just lift as much as we can. Hopefully we'll get some big puppy times.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is the plan between now and taking off?
So we're just trying to prepare me best for college. We're not going to deviate me too much from what the other boys are doing in end zone, because I am leaving in July. We do have a lot of time. But as the months go by and we get closer to my departure date, we are going to really specialize my program for what my goals are.
So, because you'd have a rough idea, I'm presuming, or the boys there, Makana especially, they'd have a rough idea of what, the college guys are doing at this time of year. So are you kind of leading towards what they are, especially as you build up towards your date?
Exactly, yeah. We definitely have the benefit of sending a few guys over already. So we got kind of a blueprint that I can hopefully follow, like boys like Zach and Jordan and Jack, both of the Jack Lowe's, like everyone who went over. We can just rinse and repeat for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you able to speak to those guys about their experiences as well?
Exactly, yeah. Like when I went over on the tour especially, those boys were really important to provide some advice and guidance. I'd never done it before. Everyone who's done it, especially from Australia, can testify how intense it is and just how it's nothing like you've ever experienced over here. So just being able to lean on them for some support and advice has really been beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned your mum and your sister before, but are they are they ready for this? Because you're taking off and you're going to be gone. You won't be able to have those home cooked meals anymore.
I know it's gonna be a sad day, but we got FaceTime. They're gonna come visit, hopefully as much as they can. But we got like 4 or 5 months, so we're just trying to cherish what we have while we have it.
Yeah, but I'm sure they're very excited for you as well as
definitely
being sad.
Definitely.
Are you nervous?
Not really.
Not yet?
I'm just excited.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe.
I'd be the kind of guy that'd have the calendar on the wall with a circle on it and counting down the days. Are you kind of like that, or?
No, I haven't got the calendar up yet, but now that you said that, I might chuck one up there.
Might chuck it on chuck it on the phone just to make sure you know that there's 60 days to go. You'll be flying.
Yep.
What kind of? Speaking of Zach, he mentioned that. Are you a goal-orientated person? Do you have all right? First thing was to get a scholarship, but however you got it, you got it. When you get over there, is it all right? I want to be trying to, whether it's redshirting first or being able to actually come on and play and get minutes and things like that. Do you have goals that you have set out over your time?
Man, I feel like there's just so many variables in this sport to really put too much stock into those kind of goals.
Yep.
My main focus is just doing my best. Like, I never really thought that I'd end up here. Like, some things, I didn't actually get any offers on my tour. So, like, if I set the goal of getting an offer, I would have been disappointed, but my main goal was to just try my best.
Yep.
That's what I did. I ended up here, and I feel like everything that's happened in my journey has happened for a reason. I'm exactly where I need to be in this moment. So moving forward, I'm just going to keep that mindset, like, just work as hard as I can, do everything to the best of my ability, and everything will work out how it needs to. I'm not focused on, like, I want to start and I want to get, like, 15 interceptions, blah, blah, blah. It's just do my best. Hopefully we can get a lot of wins at Hillsdale.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't mind that mindset, especially, to be fair, you're very fresh to it. You don't exactly know what you're going to go over there and get, But I think it is exciting, and we're definitely going to follow you along the way. But have you got things like where you're going to live when you get there? Have you got all those kind of things sorted out, or not quite yet?
I'll be staying on campus for the 4 years.
Yep.
But as soon as I get there, I'll probably have to stay in a hotel or two, just because you can't fly to Hillsdale. You got to fly to Chicago.
Yep.
Or Detroit. So stay in a hotel 1 night, 2 night, then head over there and live on campus for my duration.
Yeah. Have you got anyone moving over there with you, or are you going to go and try and do it by yourself?
By myself, man.
Yeah, nice. Mate, you sound like you've taken it by the balls and having a real crack, which I love. We'll definitely keep on top of you, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll see how you're going with it all. But do you know? So, what's the major difference between D1 and D2 football?
It's the quality. Like D1, it's a lot of it's the highest quality of football that you can play as a college athlete.
Yep.
Division 2, it's still elite. Like, it's still, if you play college football at any level, it's a fantastic accomplishment. It's not like the phrase gets thrown around D1 or bust. Like, that is just not true. Whether you end up playing D1, D2, D3, NAIA, JUCO, like, you still should be very proud of yourself. It's a massive accomplishment. Division 2, still good quality football, but we also put a lot of focus on academics, which I feel like is perfect for me.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I think you couldn't have said it any better there. The fact that you're actually even playing it is a huge achievement. So, and you hear all the time, especially JUCO boys, they don't hate saying that they are JUCO lads and that they've made it to the NFL coming from JUCO. So you've given yourself every opportunity, mate. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm more excited than you are. I'm sure you're going to do all the boys at Endzone very proud, anyways.
I hope so. That's what I'm trying to do, man.
Yeah, but absolutely, mate. I've run out of questions out of all the ones I've got for you, but all the best with it. We'll definitely keep in touch and watch your progress through while you're over in Hillsdale anyway.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Nah, we appreciate it more, and all the people out there that, like you said, the message of it's never too late to give it a crack, especially coming out of high school. If you do find this the path that you want, are people able to reach out to you and have a chat about that if they want?
Yeah, you can reach out to Endzone Academy on Instagram or Facebook. They'll they answer my DMs. I didn't know anybody, so anyone, if you have that sliver of ambition to maybe see if college football is for you or the next level of football, definitely reach out. Can't go wrong. Just do it.
Yeah. What do you have to lose, really?
Exactly, nothing.
Beautiful. All right, mate. We appreciate your time, and we'll keep in touch anyway.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Cheers.